take one. Right, in this series of videos I'm going to go through each step of repairing this GP side panel and painting it. We've got some dents in it, it's been aerosoled, so a lot of this is going to have to come off. But much like I did on the other one, I run my hand over it. By moving the panel up and down in the sunlight, you can see where the dents are. Right? Whereby everything had been sandblasted, this isn't. This is going to get basically rubbed down. I'm going to rub over this with a block. I'm going to use the existing paint that's on here as a guide coat, and then we'll see where the dents are, and I'm going to basically take the dents out before applying any filler. It's quite nasty, and often it's quicker to put a thin skim of filler over than spend hours again getting it straight. It's all a question of what the customer wants. If it's your own panel, you're quite able to spend hours tapping all the dents out. Can you see that at all in the light? It's already been repaired here, so maybe that's from a factory to stop that splitting, but some of this is a bit untidy. I'm going to straighten this up.
Okay.
So let's go downstairs and hopefully we won't have any flickering. Follow me.
No, it's not. Look, oh, it's playing. Nothing, no more flickering.
Good.
Adjusted already. Wow, we made it. I made it. No more flickering. Go.
Right. We've got blocks. These are solid blocks. Flat. Shorter one. Okay. Long. Medium and short. Okay, this panel's got curves in it. See, not going to be much good for this. It's right on a car seat, but that's not good. This one's a bit better. This one, better still. Okay, what I'm going to use this aerosol paint on that's been put on here as a guide coat. This block passing across here will show up the high and low spots. We are moving the block around long ways. This is 80 grit on here, an old piece. The trouble with aerosol paint, it clogs up paper. If I strip all this off, it will probably come off anyway once I've knocked the dents out, but I'm going to use this paint, as I said, as a guide coat. You see where the paint has all come off, we've got bare metal there. That's obviously a high spot, and where the paint is still shiny, these are low spots. There's a big one there. Let's go along this bit here now. There's a slight curve to this, that's why I'm going at an angle like this. And then straight. this was a bare metal panel, I'd have to use the light outside, and by moving the panel around we get a reflection, and then I would mark the areas that needed attention with a pencil, so when I brought it down into my room here I can see a lot quicker the areas that need immediate attention. But quite often you get to a point you use your hand. Even with gloves on you'll still feel it. What some people do is with bare hand and a piece of tissue paper, it amplifies what your hand might not pick up. You run your hand over this, oh yeah, there's lots of dents, but a piece of paper, tissue paper, amplifies it. That's a good, for someone that's not done this before, that helps. Whereas I've spent most of my life doing this, and I use my hands. Even with gloves on I can feel. Right. What I'm going to do now is get my hammers and the dollies, and I'm going to attend to this area here, and then we'll block it again, and we'll see how much of the unsanded areas become like this. As in this part here is good, not good, not good, not good, not good, block, etc, etc. Okay. Right.
Okay, go.
I'm on my stool here. It's been quite a while sat here tapping. I've got sometimes use my leg. I don't have a leather pouch full of sand. I've got a thigh. So I will select the hammer. I have a select. Well, many years collection. It's a very high-end toolbox. This. My roll cab is in another place. Basically, where I can see on the inside here, I'm going to start tapping. This hammer's got a slight dome to it. Can you see that? Oh, there's nothing. It's a domed head and a spike the other end. Where's the alternative? This one is a pretty flat head and that shape. It's good for getting lines, tapping out lines. This one here is a fairly flat head. This is a shrinking hammer. You see that there? What this does is these swirls, they grip the panel, and there's a cam inside this head and it twists it, therefore slightly shrinking the panel. But you would have to have a dolly on the other side. This has a flat, many shapes, curves. So you try and match this to the contours of your panel. You can get away with some fairly basic stuff, but I always see an investment of tools. What I'm doing here is where it's still shiny paint, I'm putting my finger, then come to the other side and I'm just tapping down slowly, working my way along. Right, this is slightly high here. I'm going to use the spike just to gently tap that down. And then this here is shiny metal, so the same thing again. It's my leg. Where have we gone?
Why Why not on the table?
Well, I'm going to stand up. I'm sitting down here, I'm comfortable. You don't have to hit it too hard. It's not a 1968 Rolls Royce. Just gently tap it. You don't want to stretch.
Dad?
Right, that's that small block again. And here we've got shiny areas. Oh, I feel quite see, some of those are now becoming matte because I brought the panel up. Dust off. See how much more of that now is basically the paint coming off because we're getting it level. This here is a body file. It's used for filing. So I put a slight curve on the blade, and this here feels high, so I'm just going to, I could tap it down or go the other way. But what I'm doing here is actually shaving some metal off. There's not much paint there, that's all gone. So I'm shaving metal off. That now feels smooth. Again here you see some slight highs on the file that. This is where the time gets taken up. So you can get to both sides of this, as long as things not been folded in half. With time, you can tap, file, and get it straight.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to close the start. See here? This is high, this here is low. So what I'm going to do, hopefully, is tap. On this side, with your finger there, when you're tapping it, you can feel where you've been hitting it. Whoop. See how much of the paint's come there? Because obviously I've lifted that dent. That's pretty much what you would do over the whole thing. There's a good one here, just round the corner of where the badge would go. My weapon of choice is going to be my spike. I'm going to rest this on my thigh. Let's see how we've there's a dear little bit there that may come out when you hit it with the block. Because what the block's doing is taking the scratches out that the file would make. If you hold the file at a crazy angle like that, you'll cut a groove into the panel. Let's do it, shall we? Right, we don't want that. So we file. Keep the file flat. So we get, you see, look, you can see it there. So you need to keep it flat. Do some there. Make more work myself, but the whole point of this is to show how you can correct a mistake. There we go. That's gone. I'm going to repeat the same process over this whole panel, okay guys? I'll show you this, my shrinking hammer and the dolly. So I've tapped it out from behind. You can see high spots here. Okay, this is where I've tapped down some of it before. I'm going to get the dolly directly behind it, and I'm going to gently, you can tell the difference between where the hammer is directly over the dolly or not. I'm not pushing up, just gently tapping down those high spots. There's some here. Get the dolly behind and gently tap them down. Again, you can see where it's there's marks here where the grooves of this hammer are gripping. See, there's paint there, it's gripping the paint. So we just go over the, and these are the same as on that toolbox in the other video. The dimples there, these are from these spot welds. There's some dents here. I'm going to get this behind using the light. I'm not hitting it hard, doesn't need to be. We don't want to stretch any more than absolutely necessary. Now what I'm going to do now, you see I've gone along this panel here after I did all the tapping and filing. Got a 36 grit fibre disc on here, not one of these flappy discs. Okay, these are okay for grinding down welds, but I prefer a stone disc. They're useless in my opinion. This, if you want to get you can see there's high spots here. Yeah. Oh yeah, always wear eye protection. That's taken the heads off of that. If you don't have a file, most people have got one of these at home. You can use this, but don't dig it in at an angle, you keep it flat. You don't get the panel hot either. You'll be in a world of pain then, it'll warp it. But this has got to be, I'm going to have to mechanically remove all this paint, because any paint I put on this is going to be a waste, because underneath the original you can see rust, oxidation over all of it. So you got there, well, I've tapped it. I'm going to go over with this. I'm not keeping the machine in any one place for too long. I've just seen another, where's my, I've got a feeling that this hammer wasn't this curved when I bought it, but it's 50 years old. And underneath here, underneath this tape, I beat a piece of metal to the shape of the hammer shaft to save the hammer shaft hitting. Well, these are pretty good actually. If you're reaching into somewhere and you're hitting metal before you get to the bit you want to knock out, eventually you'll wear your hammer shaft out and you'll hit it one day and the thing will just fly off. Not a good idea. Let's just see if we can use my leg. I could use the spike. Gently tap that out. But again with the angle grinder, and we'll run across this here. fly over that. There's a high spot there. Go over this bit here, see if I can clean this up a bit more with the Ideally this needs to be media blasted. So it's not rusty as such, but any paint, if you just sanded this and painted over it, it'd be a waste of money. To take this, just one panel to my media blasters, would cost more in my time than it would actually to get it blasted. So what I'm going to do now is with this machine, I could chemically, as in use paint stripper to get this off, but I'm going to do it mechanically with my sander. This is an 80 grit disc and I get a 40. Got some. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend going over the whole panel with a 36 grit disc on an angle grinder. You could put some nasty grooves in it. What I'm doing now is removing the old paint. This is a 40 grit disc, so hopefully it will take it off a bit quicker. I'm not going to bore everyone to tears with the whole process of sanding this off. I'll leave that to your imagination. But, come on, wake up.
What's going on?
That's taking it off a bit quicker.
Go.
Okay. Not that I've given up with the sanding DA 80 grit, 40 grit. I remembered I had these. I think they're called a fibre disc, not a fibre disc. Clean and strip. I can't remember exactly what they're made of. But you can have one that goes in a drill. Get a drill bit like this on I think it's called an arbor. Anyway, fits in a drill, or you can get them to go on your angle grinder. So this is too big, I've taken the guard off. But what this will do, this will, surprise enough, clean and strip and get all the far quicker sanding disc.
Hang on. No wonder why Duncan is a bit deaf.
Pardon?
It's so loud.
Yeah, this is, yeah. You can see that. I think you get the idea of what that's capable of doing.
See, from this one to this one.
So,
Very hot pala. A bit hot, don't touch it.
once I've done that, I'm then going to go over.
Yeah.
Going over the whole panel with 80 grit on the machine. But if you haven't got that, then back to the 80. Well, here's a bit that I haven't done with the machine.
Yeah. At least you can see the difference from this one, then turn into this, and then this one.
You don't have that. You'd have to go over by with the block. Because that's too shiny in my opinion for paint to stick. Basically scuff the whole panel up with 80 grit. Alright, I've gone over the whole panel with 80 grit after using the clean and strip wheel. I'm now going to skim the whole thing in filler. It's all, it needs it. Right. I use metal, not a piece of cardboard. Cardboard would absorb some of the oils or whatever. I don't know what. But yeah, it's better to use a piece of metal. Some people use an old drop glass out of a car, but of course drop glass being a side window, but that can be quite heavy, and if you drop the thing it will break, whereas this piece of metal is a good number of years old, and it gets cleaned up. I wipe it down with thinners afterwards, and occasionally go over the whole piece with abrasive paper. And mixing a filler. See, this time of year you've got a fair bit of, it's cold so it's not going to go off. In the summer you've got to be a bit lively. Now, I'm mixing up a huge amount here because this is not my first rodeo with this stuff, so I can work fairly quickly with it. But for a first timer you probably wouldn't want to mix up so much because you'll have it go off on you. No, that's the problem with a large area. There's no good just doing a little bit. You've got to give. If you come over here, basically you've got to mind out. It's going to flick. You've really got some on your trousers. There's a nice creamy filler, this. I'm going to leave this till tomorrow. It's now late afternoon. If I was in a screaming hurry, I'd put some heat on this to get it to go off quicker. But you have to be very gentle with the spreader, not pushing. And this is the art of it, if you like. It doesn't come overnight. I'm trying to follow the contours round. It'll be interesting to see if I get this out in one go. And by that I mean I haven't got to reapply. I put enough on to get, for want of a better word, the shape I want or need.
That's the last, yeah?
Well, I'm going to go along here, yeah.
Okay.
See, whereas I was going lengthways down there, I'm going, for want of a better word, top to bottom, trying to keep the line. And along here, I'll go You see it's starting to go off now. The bits, see these lumps here, so I've got to...
You have to be very quick.
Yeah, and it's cold in here. Just putting on the edge of this spreader here. Or this is, I think, one of the widest I've got. See, if it was a smaller area, I'd use a smaller one. And be careful you don't wipe your trousers in this.
I'm away.
There you see it's pulling. It's a bit.
So it's like you're putting an icing on a cake.
Yeah. Now I think it's probably got longer. My plastering didn't turn out too bad. After years of applying this stuff. Always try and get the best, as close to the shape that you want, so you've got less trying to get the shape of the filler when you're sanding it. And for bit like this. Oh, there's a bit more in there. Corners, use all the modern equipment, can't beat your finger. It's knowing when to stop, what I would say, playing with it, which is pretty much what I'm doing now. I'm just playing with it. So I did the large areas first, all these smaller areas do last.
Okay.
Clean the scratch, clean the spreader. That's why I like to use metal. You can't really clean this up too well with a bit of cardboard, it just goes all soggy. I'm still using it. So it's starting to pull now. Might as well go around this bit, everywhere else has got it. That's why it's handy to wear gloves. I'm not going to be picking this stuff out of my fingerprints for the rest of the evening. I think I gauged that about right. Anyone would think I've done it before. Okay, clean this up, scrape what I haven't used off. What, you're correcting it?
I just see something here.
Oh, you want me to put some in there, do you?
Yeah, because you have some left over, no? Why not?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Okay.
Yep. Clean this up with right. What I do now, put the lid back on the tin. Right. What I've got in this is an old filler tin. I've got thinners in here and a brush, which is obviously quite hard, it's not been used for a while. And I now clean my mixing board with the thinners. Is it? Yeah, tissue. Wipe that off. It's a bit of an old door skin, that is. There's another one that's even older. With different shapes. These are for the inside of leg shields. Makes it a lot easier to apply the filler because it's closely resembles the shape. And then the final bit is to clean the spreader. When I first started, all those years ago, we used plastic spreaders like this one, but I've got used to using metal ones. I find them far better. What you do when they're new, you run around the edges with a bit of 180 just to take the edge off them because they're a bit sharp. I don't worry too much about the corners, but these edges here I get rid of. This one's old, so it's slightly wear anyway. Always clean off. Okay.
Go.
Right. I'm not going to use my filler for a while. I put masking tape round here to help seal it. I found if it's left a long time it can dry out. It's polyester putty. Do tape when you use this.